So we are live. This is the first Nerdy Talks live, actually, and this is Mr. Folds right here.
How you doing?
I couldn't find your Fold Z84. I couldn't find that on YouTube, but I did find the Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
Um, that was some cool stuff, though. I mean, I liked your random weirdness. That was cool. I think
Yeah. That was like 10 years ago when I made that stuff. That was back like in the early YouTube days.
you need to do it again because it was funny, dude. It was awesome. I'm gonna request you do it some more. Anyway, what we're doing here today is we are going to be talking about the Flash, and when we brought this up, me and you were talking about it, and we were discussing what we could do for this, and we said 11 cool things about the Flash. I think that was
Yeah, I was like, just trying to come up with like really cool facts about the Flash. Some may people know about, some may not know about.
so. I added on to that because I really love the Flash in general because anything about the Flash to me is cool. So I added on to that by saying we could compare him to Quicksilver sometimes,
Right.
and might be able to see who would win out of Flash and Quicksilver, your opinion versus mine. So, what do you got? I mean, what do you got to start with?
Well, for the Flash, we all know that he has super speed. He's a speedster.
Yeah.
He draws his power from what they call the Speed Force. It's an extra-dimensional energy source which, when synced with living beings, bioelectrical force amplifies and distorts their proportions and placement in an individual versus the time outside their own. Basically, it's like the Force in Star
like
Wars, but it's the Speed Force basically.
I like that.
He that's where he mainly draws his powers from. He can actually he can take himself and other people into the Speed Force, and that's basically like taking him on his home grounds, and he's like practically a god when he's inside that Speed Force.
Yeah, I like that. And I know that I like your comparison on the Speed Force to the Force. That's kind of cool because I'm actually wearing my armor today. Um, I enjoyed the villains of Flash. I mean, I don't think there was a better villain than Grodd, to be honest.
Yeah, he Grodd was pretty intense villain. I mean, he may
Captain
not have been
Cold,
all about.
like, I read about Captain Cold before the Flash series, and that was another one of my favorite villains too. I know he kind of sounds like a ripoff of Mr. Freeze, but
But see, like he's more suave. He's more chillaxed about things.
So, what do you think about the comic book versus the TV show? Which one do you like better?
I mean, the show is pretty good. I mean, if we're talking about the campy 1991 Flash series, I mean that hit a lot of good notes and hit the campiness of what the comics were. Like the newer version puts a newer spin on it. I mean, but it's their own take on what the comic book is. I mean, I love the show. But, you can probably do a lot more with the comics.
Yeah, you get a lot more out of the comics than you do the show. Yeah, I agree with. So like, who's your favorite Flash?
Because I would have to go with Barry Allen. I would go with Barry Allen.
Yeah, I'm a big Wally West fan though because I liked the Kid Flash first.
Yeah,
I liked him as Kid Flash, and when he just took over, that was like reclaiming the throne. You know what I mean? It was a cool thing. I mean, Wally West has been one of my favorites since I first read his comic book. So Um, and he's the one that started Speed Force. Wally West was. Barry Allen didn't really have that, but he does in the TV show, which I don't understand.
Yeah.
Um, so speaking of that, so how do you feel about comic books and movies? Do you think that the movies should follow the comic books, or do you think they should go a different direction? That was one of the
Well, I mean,
questions asked on.
yeah. I mean, a lot of fans, like when it comes to either comics or books and stuff, they would love to see it, verbatim, word for word, of to be exact with it. Uh, and I think either the writers or directors in movies don't see that, and they want to put their own spin on it. I mean, it's like one of my favorite book series that I've read uh, was Maximum Ride, and when I saw the movie, I absolutely hated it. Like it was nothing like the books whatsoever. But then again, it was just their own take of what the book was.
I agree with that. I mean, I'm a big comic book person. I wish they would stay with the books, but I know
Yeah,
not always going to be the case. I mean, it's nice sometimes to see them go another direction. Like I like
right.
the Wolverine one they did with the X-23 and stuff like that. That was a good movie. I mean,
Yeah,
but they eventually turned that into a comic book called Old Logan. So that was kind of cool. Um, I don't know. Was Old Logan out before Wolverine movie?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
I'm putting you on the spot now. So if y'all don't know, Mr. Folds here and I go way back, like when we were kids, way back.
High
Well,
school days.
I came to Florida in the ninth grade, and that was like your first year I met you. So
Yeah.
that's been a while. So this is Mr. Folds here is what I also call the worm. So if you ever hear me to refer to the worm, that's him.
Yeah.
You're never gonna live that out, man. Uh,
No, I won't.
but moving on with the Flash, let's jump into the Flash and Quicksilver. Um, so this has been an ongoing argument for since Quicksilver showed up.
Yeah.
Win in a race.
Well, who would win in a race?
Yeah.
It'd be hands down. It would be the Flash, because he he is
Movie Flash
significant.
or comic Flash? Because I think they have each other.
Comic a comic Flash.
Okay.
Because I know that they show in the movie that Quicksilver is moving around with basically people are stopped and he's moving around in that faster than what they can move.
Yeah.
But uh, the Flash, he can break the speed of light 670 million miles per hour.
Yeah.
So I mean, the speed of light travels at 963.6 million feet per second. So basically, it's significantly faster than that.
From what
But
I've heard once or twice that he could go around the world twice before you could blink. So,
right,
pretty
and
fast.
see, but just to give you an idea on how fast the Quicksilver can run, he ran like one of the, I don't know which comic it was, but he ran halfway around the world in 92 seconds.
Yeah.
And there was one story where he outran a radio wave, which
But,
basically is the same speed of light, which is about 670 million miles per hour.
so yeah, I mean, I have to say the comic book Flash takes Quicksilver, but in the movie, uh, Barry Allen in the TV show doesn't compare to Quicksilver on the movie.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, because if we're taking it from like what we see on the TV show and from what we see in the movie, I think like right now, I would say Quicksilver kind of has the upper hand.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I mean, if
it
you
just
watch X-Men: Days of Futures Past and Quicksilver is just running through the explosion, getting everybody, and
right, right.
you see the water dripping down, and he's able to move past the water dripping down. That was actually pretty.
Yeah, but then again, Barry Allen did when he was deactivating that bomb, he stayed in basically a time stop. Like
Yeah,
he was moving so fast that time has stopped around him, and he was able to bring other people in with him.
so I mean, their powers are similar. I mean, obviously,
Yes,
both of them are fast. They
right,
both are fast enough they can vibrate and go
right.
through
They can both phase through walls.
through walls. However, Quicksilver is not fast enough to turn back time.
Right, right.
Which,
But
no offense, no offense to Flash, I don't think he should have turned back time in the first place. So,
no, no, no. But Quicksilver does have. He also has combative experience. He's trained with Captain America and Mastermind. I mean, both are very good combatants.
yeah,
I mean, he's trained with both of them to learn. Plus, he was with uh, numerous of teams.
yeah. I'm trying to find these questions real quick. Uh, I was going to bring Mr. Noe in because he wanted to get in on the last part of the conversation. Um, I'm not trying to cut it short, but I am on break and I go back to work in about 10, 15 minutes. I wanted to kind of move this a little bit. If I can get Noe on here. But yeah, so with Quicksilver, do you think he deserves his own movie?
Does he deserve his own movie? I mean, it would help people understand of where his origin came from. I mean, a lot of people are under the assumption that he is the father or he's the son of Magneto, when actually he is the son of two gypsies. Both him and the Scarlet Witch, they're brother and sister, but they are the child of these two gypsies, um, which were stolen
Well,
from
in
them.
that universe he is.
Yeah,
I know there's multiple, like the movie has messed up everything.
yeah. Well, I mean, ever since with the whole, time anomaly with Wolverine, it changed a lot.
Well, I don't know if I'm able to invite him on here yet. I'm trying. But anyway, I'll get into the first question. So the first question, go ahead and give me another couple of facts while I look this up. I know you
Flat,
do research.
the Flash, his brain uh, is fast enough to perceive events in less than an attosecond. Now, an attosecond, just to give you an idea on how fast an attosecond is, an attosecond is the time it takes for light to travel the length between two hydrogens.
And
That's a very short amount of distance, and he said less than. I mean, that's how fast his brain thinks. So even if I would say even if he did get into some kind of combative fight with Quicksilver, he would be able to predict Quicksilver's moves faster than he can even take them out.
yeah, I mean, I know in the comic book they had two or three crossover comic books that they did with Quicksilver and the Flash, and Quicksilver had this obsession with beating the Flash, and
Right.
he actually beat him the first time, and then the second two, because the first time he cheated, and then the second two, Flash just stomped the living crap out of him. So, um, so let's talk a couple of questions, and we'll figure out what your favorite one is. All right.
All right.
So, because this is going to be for a prize for one of these people. So Miss um, Jenny Elaine Merritt asks, "Would you like to live in the prequel Star Wars, the original Star Wars, or the new Star Wars? Which verse would you like to live in?"
Oh, I would have to go with the trilogy, hands down. I
Which
mean,
one? There's two trilogies.
no, no. There is only one of them called the trilogy, and you should know this. It's, you know, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
A New
Why would
Hope,
you live in
Empire,
that?
and Jedi.
Why would you want to live in that era, though?
In that era, I think it's the way it's you got to it's like when they came out with it, it seemed like it was like a space western. Like it was. That's how I kind of look at it. It looked like it was a space western. Like it just it felt more not dark, but like
Yeah, it was a little
like
bit darker. I know what you're
it.
saying.
I mean, it's to me it felt like it was dark, like the darker of the three trilogies.
Yeah.
But that's the one that I grew up with and I absolutely love, and I think I would really enjoy living in that part of the time.
I don't know. I think I would rather live in the first three movies.
During the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I'd rather live in that era because um that era had Jedi. It weren't outlawed, and they were able to keep going and keep going. Hey, there's Noe right there.
Hey, there he is.
What's up, Noe?
Come on, you guys.
Hey, so what we're talking about right now, I don't know if you've been watching. We are talking about what Star Wars era would you like to live in?
Hmm.
The prequels, the original trilogy, or the new ones, and why?
Um, Probably the
Huh?
tough one, man. I haven't got to see much of the other ones. I haven't got to see the as I like them a lot.
Yeah, you're cut out really bad, bud.
I said the new ones.
The new ones. So we all have different view on that one. So that's kind of cool. Another question. So what I'm doing is these three. I'm going to ask three questions, and we'll vote on which one we like the best because they're going to get a prize. Um, so this one's from Matthew Page. Dark and gritty comics and comic book movies. When does it work? Why does it work? And why are we clamoring for an R rating for certain comics? Um, Along the same lines, is it better? This is what something I was telling you earlier. Is it better to stay close to the source of the comic book rather than go in a different direction like the Watchmen did, or I don't know. There's other movies like Batman versus Superman that was kind of a letdown, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, my take on it is if you're going to depict a dark superhero, like let's just say Spawn. Okay, like when they came out with Spawn back in the early '90s, um, I there's a lot of things people saying, oh, they didn't do it correctly, they didn't do it right, but they did keep the dark aspect of it and the type of character that he was. I mean, they didn't try to put all kinds of rainbows and sherbet all over it just to make it a PG-13. They
That's
wanted to keep it true to the story. I mean, just like with Deadpool, a lot of people saying, why can't they make it PG-13? Well, they're trying to keep it as true to the character that he is.
they did that with
I mean,
Logan, too, and I liked Logan a
yeah,
lot better because it was a little bit more graphic. And that's all the R rating is, to be honest, is it's the graphicness of the movie and it's the graphicness of the comic. I mean, what do you think, Noe?
I mean, if you're looking at it from a cinematic perspective, which is your question, right? From a cinematic perspective,
You said what? What
if
do
we're
you think?
we're talking like about renewing stuff in a cinematic perspective, you kind of got to go. It depends on the character, you know. Somebody like Captain America, you know, has everything, you know, that kids and people look up to, and he is just built up to be such a good character, you know. But whenever it comes to like lesser known characters, kind of gotta push them out because there's a reason why they were a little lesser known in the comic books, and you kind of gotta change it up a little bit. Dramatic.
What do you think? Um. So, any rebuttal on that, Folds?
no, no. I mean, there's a lot of good points there, definitely.
Um. Yeah. I mean,
I always, you know, it's good to stick to the comics, but you know, if somebody's a little lesser known for the sake of you know cinematic purposes to make money, which is the whole point, you know, in the cinematic, make it grow. You gotta make a few changes.
Right.
so we're doing this kind of early because this is not my normal hours for taking break, and normally we would do it a little bit later. But I know there's not going to be a lot of people in the chat right now, but I know they're going to watch it later and have questions for this. So I'll be glad to go through and check it out if they have more questions later on, and I know that Noe will too, and possibly Folds will. Um, so if you're gonna watch this later on and we're answering something you don't like, leave a comment in the section and let us know what your thoughts are, and we'll come back with you and we'll try to talk with you and show you our perspective a little bit better. Um, so the final question was, and to go on to what you just said, my mind just blanked. I understand that, like, if you can't have a PG-13 Deadpool and you can't have a PG-13 Wolverine movie, standalone Wolverine movie, because that'd be boring. I mean, nobody really wants to see that because Deadpool is old. Deadpool is violent, so and
Yeah.
gushy, bloody. I just love it. I mean, so that being said, I'm gonna get right into our third question, which this one's got my vote, to be honest. So Amber Wagner. Um, so this one says movies and comics, especially where those dilemmas and choices skirt the inner line of a hero and villain, how far is too far? Can a hero cross the line and still be considered a hero? At what point is a hero no longer bound to the same morality as society as they exist and operate? Were they ever obligated to be beholden into those things? If Superman kills and we find it wrong, but Batman does and we don't find it anything wrong with it, why is that? So pretty much she's going on the basis of uh, we have a biasness against superheroes that if, like what we were discussing earlier, Quicksilver and Flash, if Quicksilver speeds around somebody and strips them of their clothes like Flash would do, we'd find it like he was bullying somebody. But if Flash did it, we'd find it very playful. Why is it? Or if, like she said, if Batman were to hold somebody from a ledge by one leg, and threaten to drop him, we'd think that's just Batman. But if Superman did it, we'd think that's a little extreme for him. So why do we have that biasness against certain superheroes? Why do you think?
I think it's more of it's to show the different characterization of the superhero. I mean, it's like when we look at uh, like right now how they both have Supergirl and they have Arrow. Like we see Supergirl as this goody goody, and she's not willing to physically hurt somebody for information or anything like that. But if we look at Arrow, I mean, in the early seasons, I mean, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it, he's killing people in the first season. I mean, and later on the seasons, he takes a vow not to kill anybody, but he still shoots people with arrows. And even in an episode where they cross over with the Flash, I mean, the way he got information out of the one of their mobsters, Barry Allen was like awestruck. Like he was baffled by the way the arrow got information out of the guy. But I think it's more of along the lines of power, I guess. I mean, they look at Batman and the Arrow and a lot of other superheroes who don't have some kind of uh, super ability. So it's I guess it makes it.
I never really considered that
It
ones with the power are more looked at as you need to respect another person.
right.
So I never really considered that because it's kind of true because Arrow doesn't have powers and he beats the crap out of people. But if Flash were to do it, we'd all be in shock and awe.
I agree with you, Jake. My perspective on that, back to the example that you had, if Batman held for, as
You're breaking up again.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. I said back to the example of yours that you said if Batman held somebody over, not a big deal, but if Superman did it, it'd be a little eye popping.
Yeah.
I feel the reason because of that is, Batman, that's his style. That's his style. We as the viewers are protected. We know where we know where the limit where it draws far as from
You're like cutting in and out, bud. I'm sorry. Uh, I get what you're saying. Is that it's his style, and that's what he's been. That's what we know him as,
and we
Right.
know how far he will go.
and we know how far. Yeah, but here's the thing: where is the line drawn for vigilante versus hero? Because Batman seems nothing more than a thug to me sometimes, but then you got Arrow, who can be considered a hero because he doesn't kill.
I mean, the line draws whenever their perspective and their whenever somebody's a hero, they're labeled a hero because of the principles and because of the goals with justice. Whenever those goals and the principles are in jeopardy by their actions knowingly, that's whenever the
Bulge, what do you think? Hero versus vigilante. What makes the difference?
I would really have to say that it comes to where if a vigilante would probably be the one that would uh, they would save people but expect something out of it, as if someone would save a life and just say it's it's thankful that you're still alive, and they save whatever city that they're in just for the good soul of their heart. But if they need to save somebody in order to hurt somebody, then that's also I would think would be an okay thing. But if they're just gonna ask for something, just to save somebody, they're gonna ask something out of it. you know, like for money or you know, this for that, quid pro quo kind of thing. I would say that's where it kind of draws the line.
So, with that being said, we got probably about 2 minutes to get back to work. So, which of those questions do you think would be the best?
I would have to go with number three.
Number three? Yeah. So, Miss Amber Wagner, thank you for your question. Thank you all for submitting your questions. I'll be asking again on the next video. Um, you will be send me your information if you're watching this. Send me your information and your address or PO box or whatever you want to send me, and I will send out your prize, which is the Wonder Woman Q fig, which is a kind of little statue that Q figs make. They're pretty cool looking if you check it out on Google or something. Um, I'd like to thank Mr. Folds for coming on today. I know we cut this a little bit short, and we'll be doing this again, hooking up again pretty soon.
Definitely.
If you're open up to it, that'd be kind of cool. Noe, thank you again for joining in today, man. I will see you soon, I guess, because I'm here at work. But so thank you guys. And as always, happy hunting. If you like this video, subscribe down below, or I don't think I can put a subscribe button up there on a live feed. So subscribe down below and like this video. Leave some comments. Let us know what you think and what your perspectives on any of these questions are. If you disagree with one of us or if you agree with one of us, let us know. Thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you. Later, guys.